What's up? Welcome to natemareflix. My gamers out there, I need you to do me a favor. Can you go down in the comments section and give me some recommendations? Let me know what is your favorite horror video game to play, because I'm not really much of a gamer myself. I pretty much just stick to things like Madden or NBA 2K to wind down at the end of the night. But I had so much fun prepping to see Until Dawn because I wanted to be informed for my video. So I watched a bunch of playthroughs and watched other people play the game, and I ended up getting really envious. I wanted to play the game. This mechanic, this butterfly effect that the game is all about, where you get to kind of pilot the story to some extent. You get to make life or death decisions for the characters in the story. It just seemed so engrossing, so enveloping, and I wanted to play. And there's a few good thrills in there as well. So I am looking to have that experience. So if you know a fun, really scary, really engrossing horror game, please let me know down in the comments and I will check it out because I'm looking to have a good time. Now with this movie, I did not so much have a good time. Now it wasn't terrible. I would just say it is one of the movies of all time. In fact, this movie could have just been called Horror Movies, the horror movie, because it just is kind of unfocused and all over the place. It's taken on every trope you've ever seen, all the pitfalls of cliched horror movies, and it is just throwing out there every type of horror movie killer, setup, scare you've seen 1,000 times over and over again. The movie really lacks any sort of charm or identity. I will say Sandberg, the director, also has a channel called Pony Smasher on YouTube. You can check it out, where he will walk you through how they did so many of the practical effects in this movie. Now, you know me, big horror head, all about my practical effects. So I love him for doing that. And I really love him taking us behind the camera and showing us how things are done. As someone who has an interest in filmmaking, I really appreciate that. And I subscribe to his channel. That being said, as much as I love seeing these killers get absolutely eviscerated in really fun ways, sometimes it really put a smile on my face. This movie started off super boring, and then halfway through it takes an explosive turn of events that just put a smile on my face, and a lot of people in the auditorium laughed. So there are highlights in this. There are a few creatures that look neat, but for the most part, you're following these characters that are so nondescript, so derivative, so cliche and bland. And that was the thing with the game. When at first I started watching the playthrough, I was like, how is this game so revered? These characters suck. They're either cringy, awkward, or just assholes. But then as things start to happen, you go, oh, but this story is doing things. It started off as a slasher. Now there's this butterfly effect kind of thing going on. And now we've got supernatural stuff going on. There's a Wendigo to where you're constantly guessing, and these characters are being put through hell, having to run the gamut. So you started to kind of feel for them. And because you are the director of the game, you can kind of choose who they're going to be. You can find redemption for these characters if you seek to. Not so much the characters that you're just forced to sit back and watch. And the only one that I can even remember the name of is the main girl's name is Clover. Because you just hear it over and over in this movie. Clover, 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 Clover. Over and over and over with the Clover. And they give her like a little bit of a semblance of a character arc that happens in the video game, but it's just so haphazard and lazy. They do that with so many things that were in the game, and they don't understand why it was effective in the game. So in the video game, you have Rami Malek, and he is somebody who lost his sisters in a tragedy, and even before that, he was struggling with his mental health. And then that goes on to play big time into what goes on in the game. So they give this girl, Clover, a very similar backstory. She's struggled with mental health her entire life. She's going to see Dr. Hill, who's still played by Stormare here, and he is the best part of this movie when it comes to characters. He's the only one with any gravitas, any sort of screen presence whatsoever, any sort of real identity to where you go, oh, thank God. Finally, somebody who makes me feel a little chilled down my spine, somebody who can actually entertain me. So she is one of his patients. But she just, there's nothing doing there. And she doesn't take the path that Rami Malek does. And this movie really needed a Rami Malek character. But also it completely undoes the full fabric of the story and of the gimmick, because we're not doing the butterfly effect thing here, because we can't make choices for our characters. We're just sitting there watching in a theater. And it really needed that. They completely punted on that dynamic. I know it would have been one hell of a writing challenge to find a way to make that a part of the movie. But making it to where these characters don't just have to survive until dawn, that they can die and they can die and they can die and they can die. That's not what the game was. The game had more stakes than the freaking movie, which is insane to say, because the game is like, oh, sorry, you guessed wrong. You chose the wrong thing for this character. And now they got decapitated. You know, RIP, move on, better luck with your other host of characters. No, this movie, the characters, they don't even give a shit about dying, because it starts to happen with such rapid frequency that they're like, you know what? I don't think it's going to happen for us tonight. Let's just go ahead and kill each other and respawn and retry. That is terrible for a horror movie. That just sucks all the efficacy out of the scare, out of the atmosphere, because, you know, it doesn't matter. So at that point, you are pretty much just going, man, I really hope this kill ends in really gruesome, impressive special effects, or I'm going to get nothing out of this. And the movie just got really dull and bland at times. And by punting the whole concept and then going for a Groundhog Day effect, it just feels all the more derivative. We already have these bland derivative characters. We have derivative situations. We have moments where you're in a bedroom and you go, what the? Look at this set deck. This looks exactly like it was ripped out of The Woman in Black. Oh my God, the rocking chair is starting to rock on its own. This is the main scare from The Woman in Black. And then you see all of a sudden a clown doll pops up and you go, oh my God, they just segued into the poltergeist. And it's just one thing after another. And yes, the game did that. It gave you the tropes. It gave you nods to things like Texas Chainsaw or Saw, but they were nods. And I feel like they still found a way to make it creative and engrossing and to then put a little twist on it. This one didn't. It was just like a rehashing, a recycling, and then throwing these things out there for like 3-minute spurts at a time. The characters even comment on the issues of having this sort of effect, because they're like, hey, don't you think if we just had one permanent death, it would make everything that's happening mean so much more? It would make our choices mean so much more. The characters literally have that discussion and they revert to that line of dialogue over and over. It becomes like this cutesy thing between two characters that they keep saying that back and forth, like, oh, love you. If we could only die one time, this would mean so much more. And as an audience member, I'm like, you're goddamn right. There is no reason to do it like this. It would have been so much more entertaining and so much scarier if every night, we take on a different subgenre of horror, but we kill off one character at a time and it's permanent. I mean, these characters are not memorable anyway. They're not likable anyway. Might as well start dispatching them one by one, whittling it down until we get a final girl. Plus, if we want to set up is our main character a bad guy type thing, if we want to pull the Rami Malek card, we can be like, she's disturbed. We don't know if she's a reliable narrator. She's seeing this doctor guy that nobody else is seeing. Characters are dying each night. Maybe the characters are dying in isolated parts of the little cottage that they're staying at. So really, there's no other witness to see how they died. So is she picking them all off? Is she hallucinating? Is she disturbed? That would have made a more effective movie. Every single night, you'd be like, well, who's going to die? What is the situation going to look like? Are we going to do a paranormal thing? Is she going to be responsible for it? Who's going to catch her? Is anyone going to make it out alive? Will anybody see the light of dawn? But we didn't do that. The movie is just a really poorly paced, really derivative exploitation of everything we've already known and seen before. So I applaud Sandberg for going for practicality and allowing fans in. So go check out his channel, because he's a very lovely, nice man, and he has such a passion for film and horror. And I would love to take a class with him and just pick his brain. But that being said, this one did not work for me, and I don't think it's a matter of me checking out the video game. I think if I had come to this, I'd have been like, this feels like kind of just slop from the early 2000s that I would have watched as a teen and been like, it's a no for me, dog. Because it really does, at the end of the day, this feels just maybe a notch above, some of your really poor Blumhouse movies. This feels like it was made for PG-13 audiences. This was made to be like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old's first horror movie. And then they just turned the gore up a teensy bit. And they ended up breaking the world all along. They didn't do any service to the IP. I can't imagine if you love the game that you're going to be like, they nailed it. This is what I'm talking about. I can't wait until they do another one. I just cannot see that for the life of me. The writing is lazy and haphazard at times. Gary Doberman, who wrote this movie, he's done a lot of Conjuring work. He told Dead Meat that one of his first jobs in Hollywood was that he would write for the Sci-Fi Channel, and that a lot of times they would just pick a locale. They would get some, D-list actor, and they'd be like, hey, we start shooting in 4 days. Here's the actor. Here's the setting. Make something happen. All we know is we want a Froggadile to be the monster. And he would just have to go and he would just speed write This movie felt like an exercise in that. Okay, we have a video game, but we're not doing the video game. We're doing a Groundhog Day movie in a cottage. There's a mentally ill girl. We got this doctor that shows up sometimes and go really freaking fast. It felt so haphazard. They do a full-on somehow Palpatine returned at one point to where the characters all look at each other and they go, wait, the log says this is night 13. And you, the audience members, like, I don't remember that many nights. The characters are like, I don't remember that many nights. They're like, what's going on here? And they're, I don't know. The movie needs the end. That's why we're doing it. Okay, fucking deal with it. That's the type of movie we have. One that didn't take the time to properly respect the source material and then chose to adapt certain things from the source material, but then did it in the laziest way possible and didn't choose the other elements that they needed to adapt in order to make them ones that they did choose truly special and to actually work within the world. And whenever they got themselves into a corner, they would just shrug their shoulders and go, next scene. And guys, okay, one last little thing about it. While it may be cool to see different types of ghouls and villains and goblins, a lot of the effects, they start to wear thin. And this really gives you the feeling of just walking through one of those haunted house exhibits to where that's all it is. You're like, oh, that popped out. Oh, this isn't necessarily cohesive, is it? Oh, that doesn't even look that good. I think I can see where like the plastic is right here. That was the effect I started to get with this movie. So it is a movie of moments to where you go, cool kill, that was nice. Oh, that jump scare was actually pretty damn good. Oh, I like this. But you have to wait for them and you don't know when the next one's going to show up. And the more you think about the world that all this is happening in, your brain starts to hurt and starts to smoke because you go, that doesn't really work. Now, does it? So if for some reason you were weighing your options, do I spend the money on 2 tickets for me and my significant other or my friend to go see this movie? Or do I just pay to download the game and have myself a nice weekend end? I say pay for the game. I give this movie a 2 out of 5. I say wait for streaming. If you are going to check it out, it will be for some, but it is not for me. And those are my thoughts on the game. So go ahead and drop your horror game recommendations down below. Let me know your thoughts on my thoughts. Hit subscribe if you enjoyed this video so you can get more Nate Mareflix content. And one last thing, have yourself a great day. I'm Nate for Nate Mareflix saying that's a wrap.